All right, everybody, welcome back. And I'm going to go ahead and open one of these rolls, but I want to make sure that I've already had people, and I've sent pictures of these to people. And first question off one of the people that I sent pictures to was, I would like to buy one of the rolls. Well, uh, both of these rolls are actually sold already. They were sold before they ever hit my door, actually, because I know what they are. And so the person who bought them has agreed to let me open one on air so that we can see what's inside of it. Now, I'm hoping that these coins are absolutely pristine and beautiful, which is usually a sign of a Batdorf wrapped roll. And so for those that I'm going to do it real quick, but for those that don't know, Batdorf wrapped rolls are basically the guy who invented the wrapping machine. His last name is Batdorf. He invented it in 1915, and it was patented basically March of 1915. And they're very well known because of their V cut to the wrapper like this that is centered in the middle of the wrapper. If you have a V cut that's off center, it's usually not authentic from that standpoint, but they're also known for holding their coins extremely tightly. You cannot pinch these wrappers any way, shape, or form that you can think of. The wrapper itself will not move around these coins. So with that being said, I'm going to pick one of the two rolls here to open. I'm not quite sure which one to open. I think I'll just do this one here. There is no way to fake a Batdorf wrapped roll. I will tell you that right now. You cannot unwrap it and rewrap it using any type of a wrapping machine or a wrapping crimping tool or anything like that. There is literally no way to rewrap a Batdorf wrapped roll. I have given it my all to try and see if there's a way to fake them so that I can say, yeah, I don't want to buy Batdorf wrapped rolls anymore, and there is no way to do it. So the only way to really open one of these rolls is literally just to tear into it because it won't make any difference if you save the wrapper or not. So that is what I'm going to do, and we're going to see what we have in here, and let's hope what we get is some really pretty stuff. Now, interesting thing about Batdorf wrapped rolls, usually with most rolls, the wrapper is relatively long and wraps around the coins at least twice, if not even 2.5 times in some instances. With a Batdorf wrapper, you will notice that I don't have to go far, and the coins are right there from that standpoint. So these are very, very short wrappers, and that was one of the reasons why these rolls are wrapped so tightly, is because they have a very short amount of paper with which to actually wrap them. Okay, so other thing I like about Batdorf wrapped rolls is the fact that the paper, for whatever the reason, and I've run across a couple that have toned the coins, but the paper does not contain a lot of sulfur. And so as a result, the coins tend to be extremely shiny on the edges of the coin versus other wrappers that I've seen that they'll come out very, very dark and toned. So what's the big deal about coin wrappers that hold the coins so tightly? Quite interestingly enough, it's because as the other wrappers become loose, not the non-Batdorf wrappers become loose, those coins tend to separate slightly within the wrapper, and the dust from the paper falls down in between the coins and starts to tone those coins because the dust from the wrapper contains sulfur. So with Batdorf wrappers, because they are so tightly wrapped and held so tightly together, there's just literally no way for these coins to actually separate inside the roll for however many years they're there. So let's take a look and see what I can find here. I'm going to roll these off here. Try to do this so that I don't touch too many. And they are. So there's the one end coin. You can probably see that it's toned around the outside edge. Another key characteristic, too, of a Batdorf wrapped roll, and I'll see if I can get this up here for you guys to see it and get the camera to focus on it as best I can. You can actually see where there's a ring around the outside edge where the wrapper or where the wrapping machine scored the coin as it went around the end of the roll. And quite interestingly enough, if you're looking for original Batdorf wrapped rolls for whatever the reason, that is one thing that I look for. It will usually be on one end, not both. And it usually is the end, or what they call the secondary end of the wrapper, which is the end that is wrapped after or at the end of the coins falling into the tube to put the paper around it. And I haven't quite figured it out yet in terms of what it is or why it is, but I always look to see if I see that on a Batdorf wrapped roll. Here's the other end coin, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This other end coin does not have any rings around it. It is toned like this one is, but it does not have any rings around it. So usually these little scrapes and wrapper rings, if I want to call them that, will only be evident on one end of the wrapper. So you usually don't find those rings, by the way, on wrappers that are just regular other bank type wrappers, and that's because they don't wrap the coins as tight, so they don't have a need to. So here are your coins, or the coins, in this this little roll, and they are incredibly bright coins and incredibly, oh wow, holy cow. Yeah, so this is why I buy Batdorf wrapped rolls, and I very rarely will let rolls that I find, whether it be in collections or even on eBay for that matter, get away from me. I will bid them incredibly high as a result, and so these are just absolutely pristine coins, which is fantastic. Because for the seller that it came from, I'm very, very surprised. But even the reverses are incredibly pristine and beautiful. I'm guessing, just looking at this one here, there's not a mark on it, and it is incredibly strong struck. So these are going to probably wind up grading out really high in terms of things. I'm not seeing too many weak struck coins in this roll here, for that matter. So I'm going to go through and take a look at this wrapper and roll and see what it winds up kind of grading out at. And maybe I'll do a third video here tonight. But hopefully you guys have all learned something about Batdorf wrapped rolls. And for what I paid for this Batdorf wrapped roll, I'm pretty confident that it's only going to take one or two coins in here to more than surpass what I paid for the roll. So there you go, guys. Any questions or anything like that, leave them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to try and answer them if I can, or you can always message me directly if you need to. But simply gorgeous roll of coins. Absolutely beautiful roll of coins. So hopefully you guys are able to see that. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. You guys have a good evening.